All right, this young man has a lot going on, and I see possible scoliosis. That,
Something osis. Definitely.
ooh,
Um, what's interesting is it really is driven also. We've got a rotation,
yeah, big
got a
time.
strong head forward. I mean, the shoulders are indicative of a tremendous amount of rotation and something going on. I would love to know this person's more information about what's going on for them because there is a lot happening.
Yeah,
But because we do posture therapy, we're not really going to try to fix someone if they have scoliosis, but we're going to address what it means to have scoliosis. Like I have it, which means I'm always in a little bit of a rotation, which is great because posture therapy deals with rotation. This person's rotation really seems to be going from the thoracic up to the head and then sort of out through the legs. I'm surprised the lumbar is so straight.
yeah.
I would have thought we might have seen it
Look at this.
different, but yeah, like a
You can
lot of
see,
mhm.
look at
Yeah,
that. Is that the shoulder blade?
yeah,
That's,
sure.
that's visual. That's visual from the side. That's,
And he has a
wow.
rotation. So with a scoliosis, if it's a true scoliosis, often, we remember when you're a kid and you would have to bend over and the school nurse would like look to see if you jig jogged. They're looking to see if the thoracic moves and the left shoulder humps.
Look at
We're
that.
not sure for this gentleman here. There's a lot of weakness on this right side, a lot of head forward. So what we would
Oh, yeah.
address,
Look
like,
at
yeah, that's
that.
why I was like, Dr. Reese, I think you can relate to that neck, my friend.
Yeah, this is tech neck. All this is computer athlete stuff right here.
I don't know, right? Because then what if we find out he's a cameraman and he's down on the ground and he's twisted like 20% of his life? I'd be like, oh, that's why your body looks like that.
Yeah.
I do love to know people's how do you spend your day in your bodysuit? What do you do for it? And eventually we'll be able to share with you guys more and more and more just regular things you can do to improve when you get inside the program. Because, I mean, how you sit could change it. We don't know. I think he's tall. It's like, I don't know. It's like a dating game. I think he's tall. A lot of tall people twist. Can we look at the other side of his neck?
And look at the muscles are just working here.
Oh, they're kagad, they're a mess, they're overtaxed.
Look
But
at
look
that.
at this side. That's a really different neck experience. Look at that side, then go to the other side.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
All right. So in a posture therapy program, something like that is like, wow, we've got an imbalance. How do I see the imbalance? How do you guys see the imbalance? We're going to show you some of the ways the body balances, and then that's easier to understand how this gentleman is out of balance, right? So just observing the side views, we can see the shoulder blades are just off of the back. There's a large rotation. I mean, if you run the line across the shoulders, one is significantly higher than the other. The rotation is significantly present, and the right hip is just so darn high. But what we don't know is what if that right hip came down, that left shoulder was able to find its home, and that right side was able to lift up.
Yeah, this up,
Like that could
this down.
happen. Yeah, but how does it happen? So I'm going to pop you over into the body for a minute.
Yeah, like, go inside the body,
Yeah,
please.
let's go inside the body. And what I want you guys to think about for maybe, I don't know, a week, see if you can challenge yourself, how posture works. All right. Here's the gentleman we're looking at, that head forward position right here. This is the space that shows the weakness, right? It really does. Like, this is weak. Everything, the arrows are really here. You can try it in your own body. Stick your head forward and you'll feel everything go schlumpy.
Yeah.
It was like right on cue. And you can see for this person to lift their head, it's more than just one muscle group. It's everything. So this person has a very strong rotation, right? We're just going to pause it here for a minute. Look at this system. Sorry, I get very excited. I just do, because I love when people are like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? Nothing. You just have a system and it's out of balance. And we don't study a lot of the systems until you do. And then when you do, you're like, how come no one taught me that?
Mhm.
And I don't know why. They should, right? Here's the shoulder. It goes right across. Boom. If this yellow triangle gets out of balance, anything in the system will affect, right? Because you can't pull on this side and not have it affect that side. Why? Because it's connected. And it's only connected right here. This is it right here, guys. Shoulder. That's it. That's it right here. That's it. That's the only bony part. Everything else is ligaments and muscles. All of it, except for right there. So imagine when this system gets out of whack and we know it's muscles, we know it's imbalance. We know it's not like, oh, I grew this way, because we're looking at it going, well, unless you really have a major dysfunction in the collarbone, which a person might, we don't know. But from a body perspective, there's a lot going on here. There's all these muscles. So when we let this fellow fly, we're going to let him go ahead and move. Bring him back to here. I love this. So here's a pretty good posture.
Yeah.
Like, people like to know where's, this is where we're always drawing that line, right? It goes through. It goes through the shoulder joint into the ear. For me, it's like, oh, that's what it looks like. Because if you strip yourself down and start looking at bones, it does get easier, right? Here's the triangle from this center. If people have gone and, you know, done core training, this triangle needs to balance the head triangle. They're a team. The gentleman we're looking at, his triangles are not doing a very good job. They're kind of morphing, right? This one's morphing, the one underneath it's twisting, and then the legs are just kind of pushing to hold the triangles up. It's like,
It's fascinating.
it is fascinating. I mean, if you like architecture, if you're thinking about the Louvre, if you're thinking about how bridges are built, I mean, we work much more like a bridge, because when these sacred arches, when these triangles, when this balance goes like that, I mean, that's just it. That's the whole problem right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I just say, like, watch that every day, and you can see that it's not just shoulders back, chest up. It's head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Sorry, I have a kid. But, you know, it's all things together, one at a time, all together now. That's what we like to say. And so it starts. So this gentleman we've been looking at, if I stop share,
Yeah.
we go back to him, look at his head, and let's start with posture therapy on why is his head like that? You know, the head is in a very demonstrative position. It's really showing us struggle. And I say that because he's working really hard to keep his ears straight, right? Your body will try to keep your head straight because of the inner ear imbalance. So if you go from his neck down, like if that's the penthouse, it looks pretty straight. And then we go down to the shoulders and you're like, oh no, it should be a nice fluid line like those triangles we just saw. And his triangle is not so where it's supposed to be. And so you can, when you see that, you're like, that's more like not a triangle. It's more like a rhomboid or something, right? It's, and then it plays in the hips. Right? I'm sure he didn't go out and say, I'm going to buy a different pair of shorts on each side. Like,
look at the shorts.
You know? So, and I have one leg shorter. So again, you always want to find out the details. His left leg might be longer. And if you're like, why would I say that? I'd look at the knees, but then we look at his hips. Right, the left leg is, it could be. There's a lot of manipulating, trying to like figure out, and leg length difference is real, but we don't want to assume anything because I'm not going to treat those. He may have broken his collarbone, you know, I don't know.
Well, look,
there could be a trauma right there. There's something's
the
going
diagonal of this is unbelievable.
Right, and remember I said that's the only part right here is where it's broke. So I would love to know, maybe this person played polo and fell off their horse, you know, which I've actually seen. So people do crazy things, right? Imagine you're riding on a horse and that's your sport and you're leaning over on one side, or you're a rower. The only thing that worries about it for me is he has a very low muscle tone on the scapulas. So that implies not like an athletic endurance, but sort of like I'm just really trying to hold it all together. But I know really twisted people who are very strong. So we don't try to fix somebody if their leg is shorter or if their back is truly spinally challenged. I mean,
I would
the
love,
bone is the bone.
I would love to run this young man through a postural therapy protocol because his transformation would be mind blowing.
It would be. I've had a client like that before too, and a little bit of it was her. You know what I mean? Like I had all this, like, is it this, is it that? She had a traumatic accident when she was younger and had been in a body cast for a large portion of her childhood while she had healed because she'd been dragged under a car.
Mm,
And she just had some really interesting things that were just, kind of stuck in her. And through another process in another lifetime, a huge part of her putting her posture also back together was a whole mind body experience, because it's not like she walked in and said, I had a childhood accident, I think it's affecting my posture. That didn't come later, but it was fascinating. So I would love to know the story in those bones.
yeah.
I hope this gentleman reaches out more.
Yeah.
So
So,
meanwhile, did that neck resonate with your neck?
oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, the advantage that he has is that he's young and the body
Oh,
bounces back much better in your 20s and 30s than it does in your 40s and 50s.
it's just great.
Yeah.
You've got cellular reconstruction, your growth plates haven't set. You can really do that kind of like sky's the limit. But don't sell yourself short if you're older. We traditionally make people taller in our program.
Oh, yeah.
Your mom's taller.
Right. The compression and
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Imagine how tall that gentleman actually is if we could.
Right.
So it'd be really interesting.
He,
He might not have any of those things, right? He might just have this really wicked thing. He broke a shoulder or something, and it never reset, period.
right.
A lot of people break a bone, they walk around with the broken shoulder, and then they never rehab the body.
All right. For anyone listening, if you want your own P-Ray exam, we can do that. Just go to
I love it.
peaceoverpain.com and that is where you can sign up for one. We will do it for free.